is The Real Estate Dweller with Miguel, the podcast that's all about real estate. For more than 2 decades, Miguel has been at the forefront of change in real estate. This podcast will help you navigate through the ever-changing landscape of real estate. Now, here is your host, Miguel Pagan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, The Real Estate Dweller. I'm excited about this episode because today we're going to change things up a little bit. We are moving away from real estate, kind of, and we are going to talk about health and fitness with Colin McCormick of Enhanced Recovery. But let me give you a little bit of background on Colin. Colin's passion for optimizing performance began back in his college days as a competitive swimmer. In 2012, he earned his Bachelor of Science in Exercise Science Human Performance from Southern Connecticut State University. Following his graduation, he began researching ways to improve his personal performance and recovery. Eventually, through some research and hard work, he discovered some non-invasive healing methods for recovery. That research made him realize that there's a missing link between fitness and wellness, and Colin was eager to fill that void. Enhanced Recovery, his company, was created to give others the opportunity to access affordable, effective ways of improving their health and to take control of their wellness and strive to reach their full potential. Colin, it's great to have you. Welcome to our podcast.
It's great to be here. Appreciate the invite.
Great. So, Enhanced Recovery, where are you located? Where is your office?
So we're located inside the chiropractor's office, 59 Elm Street in New Haven.
Okay, so you're there with John Herb. He's the
Yep.
chiro there. Excellent. Now,
Yep.
Colin, where are you from originally? Or in other words, where did you grow up? Tell me a little bit about that.
So I grew up in Cheshire. I've been there my whole life. I live there currently. I also help run a family-owned business. We do manufacturing, so we build test fixtures for computer chips, CNC machines, and we just opened up Enhanced Recovery down in New Haven around October of 2020.
Gotcha. Now, based on your bio, you swam competitively in college, Southern Connecticut.
Yep.
How did you get started in that sport?
Been swimming my whole life. I have 2 older sisters. We all started swimming when we were really young, and we just kind of progressed throughout high school. And I also played lacrosse in high school, but I had a little bit more talent in swimming. So I kind of focused on that throughout high school. I was able to get a scholarship to go to Southern after my senior year of high school when I went All-American. So I've been doing that my whole life. I only ended up swimming 1 year at Southern though. I ended up stopping that and kind of getting into work and diving in more to the career that I was looking into, which was exercise science, human performance. That's what I studied when I was there.
Okay. So you went to Southern and you swam there, you were swimming there competitively. You had to be pretty decent to be swimming for Southern, no?
Yeah, I was okay. I held my own. It was definitely a challenging program to swim at. They were D2, but the coach was pretty tough and we had a good team. It was a lot of fun, a lot of hard work. Definitely learned a lot about self-discipline with that schedule and still, making sure you kept your grades up and things of that nature.
I remember when I went from high school to the University of New Haven, and I thought I was pretty good in high school, and then I got in with the college boys. That's a whole different level, man.
It is. It's you go in high school, you're a big fish in a little pond, and then you go to college and you're a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah, for sure. So tell me about this search to improve your personal performance and recovery. How did you get into that?
So I went to school originally I was going to study business at Southern, and I started finding myself writing diets on the side for people and helping them out with weight loss and working out. I was doing mixed martial arts and doing a lot of training myself. And I started to fall in love with just health and wellness. So I switched my major to exercise science, human performance at Southern. And then throughout that journey, I started personal training after college, as well as working in that family business I was speaking about earlier. And I started to see that everybody was working hard in the gym, but the recovery aspect was one of the most important, and it seemed like a lot of people were lacking on that. my wife, which was then my girlfriend at the time, also went through a 9-level spinal fusion. So she had scoliosis. So I got very fascinated with, the body's healing process, and is there ways that we can speed this up? Is there ways that maybe before we have to go to a surgery, can we do something to buy some people some time? Like dealing with an individual now who he needs a hip replacement. He just wants to buy a little bit of time and increase his quality of life before he dives into the surgery, because there's not really any going back after that. There's all this technology out there now that, up until recently has really only been reserved for professional athletes or like the elite, very high income earners. And I feel like the average people, need that just as much, if not more, than those individuals. And I really feel like there's a lag in technology between just everyday working people, from being injured on the job to working out and trying to improve your health and wellness, and delay having to always go to the doctor for aches and pains. And most people wait until it's too late, and then they end up doing more damage. If they do a little bit of preventative maintenance, like chiropractic, acupuncture, some of the devices we have at Enhanced Recovery, maybe you can buy a little bit more quality of life. So that's kind of how I got into that.
Yeah, that's how I ended up in your office. I had and still have some of these aches and pains that were a result of Lyme disease. And
yeah.
But we'll talk about that a little later. Now, you also mentioned that you found that there was a missing link between fitness and wellness. Expand a little bit more on that. What's that missing link?
So I feel like the missing link is more between, you feel like you have an injury or you're not feeling right. You basically just wait, and then you go to the doctor, and either you need to get on some type of pharmaceutical, or you need a surgery, or you need to do physical therapy, which is all fine. And, my wife is a physician assistant, most of my family's in healthcare, nursing, etc. And I'm very much a proponent of healthcare, and I think it's very important. But I also think that there's a lot of less invasive options out there that my goal is just to get them to be more available to the average person, to the everyday person, and make sure that the knowledge is there. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you walked in my office for the first time, did you ever hear about any of that technology?
I had, because I follow Ben Greenfield, and
Okay.
he's always promoting this stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. So Enhanced Recovery. How did that idea come about?
Probably about 2 years ago now. I was really diving into how can you improve athletic performance and recovery specifically, especially now when you see everybody's got some type of orthopedic issue, whether it's a shoulder, a hip, a back, looking to just kind of curb that injury and hopefully get people back feeling good, especially myself, because I've had a few injuries. And I started looking into some compression, and then I started, like you said, I listened to Ben Greenfield and a host of other podcasts, and I kept hearing about all these other modalities like red light therapy or photobiomodulation, which is the specific term for it, or PEMF, which is pulse electric magnetic field therapy, and cryotherapy. There's float tanks. There's tons of new technology out there. So I started looking into that more, and my goal was to be able to open up some type of facility that would have a host of different options for clients to come in and try out and use, and be as affordable as possible, so that there was less of a barrier to entry for everyday people. We didn't have to just target market the higher percentage earners. We wanted to make this for everybody, especially athletes and kids in school, or just everyday moms and dads, or anybody that's not feeling great. And one of my best friends is pretty well versed in business, and he was giving me some ideas on how to start off a little bit smaller instead of going to a retail location to begin with. So I have a couple friends who own gyms, and I started traveling around with just one piece of equipment, compression, Normatec compression sleeves. And I would do surveys, and I would interview people and just ask questions, and I'd offer my services for free just to get feedback. And I started to see a common trend that people would feel better afterwards, and they liked it. But it was like a 50-50 shot with the compression. Some people had heard of it, some people hadn't. And the compression is like a more common piece of equipment to come across. So as I kind of figured out and was trying it, the metrics of traveling around from gym to gym, time and earnings just weren't really going to make much sense. And I've been going to see John Herb, the chiropractor, for years now. And I started talking to him about what I was looking to do. And he's always been a big proponent for preventative maintenance, health and wellness. So long story short, we ended up finding, some office space in the back of his office and turning it over and fixing it up a little bit and getting some new equipment, and being able to put enhanced recovery inside his office has been instrumental to the ability to open up a business in the middle of a global pandemic and still be able to be here. Without his help, I definitely would not be open.
That's awesome. And so now we're getting to the good part, because I want the audience to become familiar with your equipment. And you have some really nice toys down there. Go through your list, man.
One of my favorites is pulse electric magnetic field therapy, PEMF. You experience that. You lay on a table. There's basically a mat you lay on and a mat we can kind of put over your body. And the machine emits an electromagnetic field. It just kind of pulses throughout, and you can kind of feel it. You can go from 0 to, high intensity. It's measured in Gauss. And, the higher intensity you get to, you can feel muscle contractions in different parts of your body. But with the pulse electric magnetic field, one of the main benefits is decreasing inflammation and increasing circulation, which majority of either soft tissue injuries or, if you have some type of trauma to a joint or anything like that, you have a lot of inflammation build up. So that's what we're trying to kind of fight while you're getting on there. So we can treat the whole body. We also have a core that we can treat a localized area. So instead of treating your entire body, if you hurt your shoulder, we can get the cord around your shoulder and give you more local, intense therapy on that shoulder. We also have red light therapy, which is, the scientific terminology is photobiomodulation. You can also, if you like to geek out on any medical research, you could visit PubMed and type in photobiomodulation or pulse electric magnetic field therapy, and all peer-reviewed data will come up about different hosts and trials that have been run to see what the results were on patients. And the red light therapy uses red light and near infrared. Near infrared is a nice warming sensation. It's the combined light waves are around 600 to 800 nanometers. And basically what you do is you expose your body as much as you are comfortable in an enclosed room, so you have 100% privacy, and you stand between the two panels. You can face either one. You just close your eyes. The benefits of that as well are very similar to the PEMF, but you're using a different mechanism, using light. You're fighting inflammation, you're increasing circulation. There's a aesthetic component to that as well, increasing collagen and elastin production of the skin, so fine lines and wrinkles. The near infrared penetrates a little bit deeper, so that's really good for muscle recovery. There's been a study done now in the increasing or the ability to help with seasonal affect disorder, anxiety, depression. I have a few clients that have used the red light rather consistently and said that they felt like they had an overall sense of calming and wellness. And we also have compression, Normatec compression sleeves. So it's a sleeve that basically encompasses your whole leg from your foot to your hip or the top of your leg. And there's 5 different chambers, and basically it inflates and deflates, basically pushing out blood flow, increasing new blood flow, which is going to bring new oxygen and nutrients. So it's really nice for after a workout, or for those people that are just on their feet long hours and your legs get tired. It's nice to sit down. The treatment times are around 15 to 30 minutes. You can go up to an hour. We also have a hip application for that and an arm application as well. So the hip is almost like a hockey girdle size. So it's got 2 chambers, kind of encompasses your lower back and your upper quads. And then the arms go from your hand all the way up to about your trap, shoulder area. And then the last piece of equipment that we have is a localized cryotherapy machine. So it shoots out about -30 degrees Celsius air So we can treat a nice acute area, so a nice small area. If you have, say tennis elbow, or you have like a, little bit of inflammation in your shoulder or something sore, anything along those lines, knees, hips, back, about 15 minutes we treat it. And basically it's a very intense ice session that is done in 15 minutes instead of 30 or 45 minutes at home. Sometimes you can get some more intense cooling, which you can fight inflammation that way as well.
Nice. Now, some listeners might be concerned about the red light. Any health risks with that?
The nice part about all this equipment is it's pretty non-invasive and deemed rather safe. However, there are, of course, certain situations where you would not want to. So, for example, if you had a pacemaker, you wouldn't want to be near the pulse electromagnetic field therapy. That could interrupt, or any type of electrical implant would not be safe. Any type of body implants as well, you want to avoid high intensity machines over that area. If you have like a Graves' disease, there's a few contraindications. And safety is basically one of our biggest concerns. We want all of our clients that come in the door to leave the exact same way, if not feeling better. So we have a pretty comprehensive, I'm sure you can speak this too when I sent that over to you, medical history and waiver form. And then anything that gets flagged as questionable or anything along those lines, we consult my wife, who's a physician assistant. And then if we're still not sure, if there's, a little bit of a question there, we just have you consult a doctor before coming in. Because like I said, there's no need to risk anything. We want everybody healthy and safe. The red light, certain autoimmune diseases or skin sensitivity to light sensitivity, seizure disorders, anything that's light triggered would probably not be a good idea. If you have blood pressure issues or congestive heart failure issues, anything along those lines that, increase in pressure on limbs, could cause a problem. The compression sleeves probably wouldn't be a good idea at that point. But like I said, everything is covered very detailed in our medical history form, basically to prevent anybody from trying anything that would not be safe for them to do so.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. I went through that form. I was like, wow, there's a lot of questions here.
Yeah,
so,
we
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, we tried to make it a little bit longer because we'd have more questions. So it wasn't just yes, no answers. It was, each question was written out with each issue. So that way, just to jog people's memories, because sometimes you forget, those medical history forms can be so mundane to go through. So we wanted to really make sure everybody stayed safe.
You bet. And so I'll give you my experience. I go to John pretty regularly, John Herb, the Cairo. And he was already building you up for months prior to you opening. Oh, you're going to love this thing. And I'm like, okay, sure, John. And then my wife somehow gets an appointment with you. And I'm like, okay. But to be honest with you, there was one thing that kept I was concerned. I'm like, how much is this going to cost me? I thought it would be super expensive. So tell the audience a little bit about the pricing packages that you have.
Yeah. So right now, like I said, one of our main goals is to make this as economical and affordable for people as possible. Obviously we need to stay in business, but I really want to make sure I believe in all these products and I believe in the results, and getting them to as many people as possible is truly meaningful to me. So one visit is only $20, and that's per treatment. So the PEMF, the compression, and the red light have all been priced time-wise to basically each be interchangeable for $20. The localized cryotherapy is a little bit more. It's because I'm hands-on with it, so it's going to take about 15 minutes, and it's $30. Now, which most people do, enjoy the treatments, what we can do is we do a package discount. So if you purchase 6 packages or 6 sessions, instead of paying $20, the price per session goes down to $16.50. And then if you buy 12 sessions, the price goes down to about $14.90. So then if a lot of people, when they come in, they like to do 2 sessions. So typically it's the red light and PEMF combo, because people just feel so invigorated after that. They get a little bit of energy, they feel relaxed. So probably my most common one. So that treatment, if you bought a 12-pack, would only be $30, and that's just about 30 minutes of treatment as well. You're not going to find that much more any more affordable that I've seen in the area. So it's rather affordable, and like I said, the preventative maintenance for your health and wellness is really kind of what we're trying to help educate people on, and that there are alternatives to just having to wait until you can't stand the pain or discomfort anymore and then going to the doctor and getting on a pharmaceutical or needing a surgery or something. We're trying to get people to realize that if you've got an issue, it might be more beneficial to try a couple of these sessions. A lot of our clients end up going to Dr. John and getting adjusted and seeing really good results, combining an adjustment and a PEMF session and a red light session and stacking all those different modalities to, improve whatever was bothering them.
Yeah, it was more affordable than what I thought. And the interesting part is now I have chronic hip pain from the Lyme disease. So in my case, it took a couple of days before I felt much better. It wasn't immediately, okay, I felt great the next day, but maybe 2 or 3 days afterwards, I felt so much better. It reminds me, I got to go visit you again.
Yeah.
So let's shift a little bit. What's your mission in life?
My mission in life is truly to help people physically. Obviously I'm more geared towards health and wellness, but I just feel like there's so much information out there in terms of, diet, exercise, what to use for recovery tools and aches and pains. But that was originally what my mission was. I wanted to open up a gym and really help people health-wise that way. Now, as I'm getting older and I'm, seeing a lot of people that I love and care about, have different issues, whether it be my wife with her scoliosis and back surgery, or my sister with the hip replacement, or even myself just injuring my back working out. I see what a need there is for chronic pain and how many people are in pain and they don't really know what to do other than go to the doctor to try or a medication or Advil, Aleve, and then there's obviously the physical therapy. So right now I'm really geared towards just getting this more advanced, technology into the hands of everyday people to just help with their issues of chronic pain and improve their quality of life a little bit. And although it's not covered by health insurance right now, preventative maintenance on your body, your body's you only have one body, so if you're not going to invest in that, I don't know what to do then, that's the only priceless thing.
Absolutely. And so where do you see yourself both in life and in business in the next 5 years?
Hopefully we keep getting busier. COVID has definitely hindered some of the expansion just initially, which is okay. But it's been a great learning experience, and I think that we'll be better off once everything starts to continue to open up. But I'd like to get a couple more locations that are smaller, spread out a little bit, so that I can be able to continue to offer this to people all over the state and allow some type of membership opportunity where you have the ability, if you travel to a different part of the state and I'm over there, you can use that facility, the New Haven facility, whatever facility that you're near.
Okay, Colin, so last question. How does the audience get a hold of you?
So you can visit my website at www.enhancedrecoveryct.com. There's a contact page. You can submit a form or a question that way. You could email us at enhancedrecoveryct@gmail.com. We're also on Instagram and Facebook as Enhanced Recovery CT. And for any of your listeners that want to come down and check it out, I'd be happy to comp them for their first session. But that's about it.
So there you have it. Colin McCormick, Enhanced Recovery. Go see him. Colin, thanks for coming on the podcast. Enjoy having you. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to our interview with Colin McCormick, owner of Enhanced Recovery. And thank you for listening to our podcast, The Real Estate Dweller. For any of your real estate needs, or if you have some coaching needs, feel free to call me directly, Miguel Pagan, at 203-650-0151. Or find us on all social media through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and of course YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Or better yet, go directly to our website, www.miguelpagan.com. MiguelPaganRE.com. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to share it, like, or subscribe. That's all for now. Take care.
Thank you for listening to another edition of The Real Estate Dweller with Miguel Pagan. For all of your real estate needs, contact Miguel Pagan at William Ravis Real Estate, 203-650-0151. Join us again next week for The Real Estate Dweller, and let Miguel's 22 years of experience work for you. If it's about real estate, it's all here with The Real Estate Dweller with Miguel Pagan. The opinions expressed are those of Miguel Pagan and his guest, not those of his company or any affiliates.